1996 world champion Damon Hill has tipped Red Bull's Max Verstappen to win a fourth straight title, as F1 prepares for an action-packed 10-race run to the season finale in Abu Dhabi. 2024's first 14 rounds were ultra-competitive, with 7 different winners. But Verstappen has taken 7 himself and heads home with a 78-point buffer over McLaren's Lando Norris. And Hill, in a chat with the sport's official podcast F1 Nation, says that it'll be a tall order for anyone to beat the Dutchman to the crown.
I know that everyone's catching, but I think that he's shown he's prepared to fight every inch of the track to keep those victories, and he's able to pull results out of the hat.
McLaren Racing CEO Zak Brown says his papaya squad will go flat out to win both world titles this year, though admits the constructors is a far more realistic proposition. McLaren heads to Zandvoort just 42 points behind standings leader Red Bull, an achievable target within 10 races. But Lando Norris is 78 points behind Max Verstappen, a far more difficult goal. The pressure is on, with Lewis Hamilton claiming McLaren's last Drivers' Championship in 2008, while its last Constructors came in 1998. But while Brown says the legendary squad is certainly going to try for both titles, he's not lamenting McLaren's slow start to 2024. I think motor racing and sport is all woulda, coulda, shoulda. Do I wish we had today's car at the first race? Yes, but we didn't. So I think you can't look back and kind of regret things, Brown said. Red Bull's motorsport consultant Dr. Helmut Marko says news on RB reserve Liam Lawson's future will be announced next month. Red Bull has a difficult situation to manage, with 5 drivers for 4 seats in 2025, and Lawson able to walk from the brand if he's not handed one. The New Zealand pilot impressed the F1 paddock last year with a 5-race stint at Red Bull's sister team, where he replaced an injured Daniel Ricciardo and scored his maiden points in Singapore. But it's thought that Red Bull will re-evaluate its driver lineups following F1's annual trip to Marina Bay, with 2025 in focus. We rate him highly and he will get his chance. Just wait. September you will have an answer, Marko told ESPN. Embattled squad Alpine is set to introduce a major upgrade to its A524 a few races after the break that will form the basis for its 2025 car. Alpine introduced the first part of its update at the Belgian Grand Prix for more downforce and top speed, with the next upgrade package set to be delivered at an end-of-season flyaway race. Technical director David Sanchez, who joined Alpine in May, is confident the French squad is now in a good position for 2026 and beyond, with the path ahead about calm, methodical work. Now it's more to get everything in the right direction with this car, the next one, and build more confidence in the team, Sanchez said. Fernando Alonso's manager Flavio Briatore has hinted that 2026 could be the Spaniard's last year racing in F1, with his plans beyond that to be decided by his on-track results and life beyond the paddock. 2024 is Alonso's 21st season of F1, during which he secured 2 titles, 32 wins, 22 poles, and 26 fastest laps. But while his debut campaign with Aston Martin last year was a podium fest, 2024 has been a step back for the green mark. The brand, however, is going all in on the sport's next era from 2026, the final season on Alonso's contract, when he will determine his next move. It depends on the feeling he has about racing and the timing. I don't know if he'll have a family at the time and whatever, Briatore said. Outgoing Haas driver Kevin Magnussen says he's failed to live up to his expectations since joining the sport. Magnussen, who looks unlikely to secure a 2025 seat, joined McLaren for his F1 debut at 2014's Australian Grand Prix, where he scored a podium. But he was replaced by Fernando Alonso at the end of the year, forcing him onto the sidelines, and to return in 2016 for stints at Renault and at Haas, where he's been for the last 3 years. And while he set an impressive pole position for Haas at 2022's Brazilian Grand Prix and is happy with his overall progress as a racer, Magnussen says that wasn't his ambition. As a kid, I was dreaming about winning championships and races and setting pole positions, but there has not been a lot of that, said the 31-year-old. NASCAR champion Kyle Larson says that he's a better all-around race driver than reigning F1 world champion Max Verstappen. Larson is generally agreed to be one of NASCAR's best and has raced beyond the series in sprint cars and IndyCar, including at this year's Indy 500, where he finished 18th and was awarded Rookie of the Year. But when asked whether he'd have to beat Verstappen to be named the best driver in the world, Larson didn't mince his words. "I know I'm better than him," he said. "Maybe not in an open-wheel IndyCar or Formula One car, but that's one discipline. I think I would beat him in everything else." You can quote that. FIA President Mohammed Ben Salam has opened up on the governing body's freshly enacted new powers to protect its officials and volunteers, with stewards now able to penalize high-profile members of the sport who make statements that could incite online abuse. The FIA is no stranger to criticism, but Ben Salam spoke out about the direct link between negative comments from drivers and team members and increased hate directed towards officials on social media. With the president revealing on Instagram last week that changes had since been made to the definition of misconduct within the International Sporting Code to ensure stewards can take action. "I urge them to show that the FIA will not allow abuse of any kind within our sport," wrote Ben Salam. F1 may have just awoken from its mid-season break, but Red Bull kept the thrills going last weekend with its latest show run on the streets of Czech Republic capital Prague. The energy drinks brand took over Rohan City, located in Prague's inner north, where an extensive temporary track had been created to showcase the speed of the featured machinery, which included Lithuanian motorcycle ace Arūnas Gibieza on his KTM bike, the Red Bull Drift brothers in their BMW M4 competitions, and ex-F1 driver David Coulthard in 2011's dual title-winning RB7. The 13-time Grand Prix winner wasn't shy to put his foot down given the temporary track's long straights and delighted the crowds to create his own highlight from the weekend's high-octane event.
Seeing the faces of people who've never seen a Formula One car before, and this is where I think Red Bull are so much more than a Formula One team, because they take the car to the people.
Across the Atlantic, IndyCar beat F1 in its return to the track, with the series in St. Louis for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Penske pole sitter Scott McLaughlin led the pack into Turn 1, but it was his teammate Joseph Newgarden who ultimately came through for the win, his fourth at the Gateway City in 5 years, despite a big spin at Turn 2. Newgarden took the lead with a quick final stop and held off McLaughlin across 2 restarts, with the last one causing havoc behind them, with third Penske Will Power out after contact with Andretti's Colton Herta and McLaren's Alexander Rossi, who speared into the back of him.
You know, the worst part about that is obviously the 12 not making it home. I mean, I hate that happened at the very end. I don't, you know, I watched it on the TV. It kind of looked like the green went out before I went, just momentarily, and it caused a big accordion.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.